There we go. Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome to Midnight Mandela. This is try number 2 for today. So I pretty much figured out why the show triggers early, I think. For those of you who saw my show trigger early, I have deleted that. So if you didn't see it live, then it didn't happen. It's kind of like the same as the last time. I think what it is I forget to turn off my OBS Studios, which is my streaming software. And it stays on, and then I end my show on YouTube, but if I don't end it on the streaming software, and it goes all the way around to the next week, and then I start a new show, but for some reason it won't kick in right away that it goes live. It waits about an hour or so. I think what might happen is that if I schedule something for midnight, it made me that it won't accept any incoming input until a certain time that's closer to the start of the show. And that time may be an hour and a half. So it may be that if I schedule my show at 12 midnight for me, then at 10:30 p.m. suddenly it accepts that signal. So in this case, I had started my show from my location at work, and so I wasn't even home when it went live from here, but from here was where the streaming software was on. So you just saw an empty chair this time. You did not see me eating because I was at work. So luckily for me, Dark Wolf is in. So luckily for me, I was chit-chatting with Dark Wolf while I was at work doing my work, which sometimes happens. And he got a notification that I just went live. So he's like, well, how is that when she's talking with me and not at home? How can she be going live? So that's why, luckily, I found out really early. And so I deleted the false start. So I really just need to make sure that I shut off my OBS Studios. Otherwise, this will happen again. And I had to drive all the way home to turn off OBS streaming. Otherwise, if I started a new show, it probably would have started streaming to that show with me not being home either. So anyway, luckily I was able to zoom home, turn off OBS, redo the notifications. I also had to find another image of the thumbnail because I didn't have one on this computer. So that's why it took me a while to redo the show. So sorry. Yes, it's all very boring. I think Dark Wolf was hoping I'd have a secret knowledge on how he could do a delayed start, but I think that's pretty much how it is. Because, yes, I got home and my OBS was streaming. Still. Sapioid. Yes, we did the huge Arctic moon thing already. I think that was 2 weeks ago. Basically, all the locations I found said that was like a CGI fake video, that the moon doesn't actually look weirdly large at a certain time in the Arctic once a year or something. There's no, it's officially not real. And there's only that one video of it. It's not like, it seems to me if that was the thing, there should be like lots and lots of these videos because everybody would flock there to experience this and stuff. So I don't think it's legit in the current timeline, but it might be a harbinger of some interesting things we might see later. So we should definitely keep that on the burner as far as keeping an eye on it. Okay, so Shari was in here and she was saying she's found this old photo of the Statue of Liberty and it looked weird to her. I think part of it is why it looks weird is we've never seen it from this angle behind, like this, behind and on the ground. And of course the pedestal looks huge. I didn't really see anything that jumped out at me as far as it looking different than the current one. I did look at some images from behind. This is the current one from in front. I kind of feel like maybe the angle of the torch might have shifted because I remember it looking sideways from the front. And now if you look up the torch, kind of blows to the side. It still blows to the side in about the same way I remember it. But now instead of blowing sideways, it's got that same shape, but it looks like it's blowing backwards. Like there's headwinds now instead of sideways winds on the blown torch. So it's looking a little choppy, kind of like, was that plaid patterning on it a little more than I remember here. You can really see these sideways lines. So I'd say there's a change there in the shadowing and stuff, but that's all that's really sticking out for me. I could go back, but I don't know if you guys have anything else. Cube clouds, let's check that out. Boink. I think we've had some of these on before. Oh, weird. No, I haven't seen that. So they were square before, but I haven't seen cubic ones. That's interesting. Cube clouds. I wonder if they have any fancy name for them. That's pretty bizarre. Cube clouds. All right, I'm going to have to write that down. Images. Yeah, there's nothing else, huh? Okay, cube-shaped clouds. Yeah, I've only seen the square ones. I have not seen 3D cubes. All right, there's that image. Is that the same one? Okay, I think we're done with Statue of Liberty. All right, let's go back to that. I'm trying to see if this is... Okay, so this is over a jungle. This is over a city. This looks like it could be... It's very vague, and it could be fake. That one could be fake. Just that photo editing is so easy now, so it's really hard to say if something is legit or not when it's just like a photo floating without any corroboration by anybody else. So yeah, it could be fake. I wouldn't really be shocked if such a thing showed up in the timeline in the near future, if not now. But it's not quite corroborated yet. Came out 2 days ago in England. All right, wait, I'm going to click on that. So what did they say it was in... One more try. Portsmouth. Okay, now we have a... Portsmouth cube. So let's go for that specific incidence then. All right, I'm going to try Google. Okay, I'll try square cloud. Yeah, I'm not finding any other images, so I don't know. If you guys have anything more on it, let me know. Came out 2 days ago in England. Yeah, I'm not finding any other images but that one. So if you have any other data on it, I'll stick in cube and see if I get anything else. There's nothing even close to that. I might be saying that wrong. Portsmouth. Is there like a more correct way to say that? Yeah, see, no more images but that one. So I don't know. Might be a harbinger. The person who took the picture posted directly in the group. Yeah, it's just tricky because it could be just totally edited. But it maybe it's not viral yet. Maybe it just showed up. It's like the first one, and maybe there'll be more. But if it's over a city, you would think that we get more than one image of it. All right, so this one, who found this one? This one's from Mark Tyus. It's in China, a rainbow scarf cloud was seen. So I was like, what the heck is a scarf cloud? I've looked up clouds before. So apparently this is a kind of cloud that forms, let me look these up. Hold on a sec. Scarf cloud. I have not heard of scarf cloud before, but I have noticed that there was these weird clouds, like when there's clouds above the volcanic eruptions, and then there was this weird foggy crap over the top. That is, and I pointed out, I'm like, what is that effing cloud? Because I haven't seen that before. And so it's a pileus cloud, also called scarf cloud or cap cloud. And I have not heard this term scarf cloud before, but so here's like an image where there'll be like a regular cumulus kind of a cumulus or cumulonimbus, and then on top of that'll be this fuzzy thing formed by strong updrafts at lower altitudes, acting upon moist air above, causing the air to cool to its dew point. They're usually indicators of severe weather, and a pileus found atop a cumulus cloud often foreshadows transformation into a cumulonimbus cloud, as it indicates a strong updraft within the cloud. Also can form above mountains, ash clouds, pyrocumulus clouds, and erupting volcanoes. Okay, as I had mentioned before, Pilei form above mushroom clouds of high-yield nuclear detonations. Okay, here's one of the images I had been looking at before where I was like, I don't remember that fuzzy crap. Looks like there's even more of it now than last time. Let's see, I'm not sure if these are still wiki. I would assume so. So here they're showing the formation of one where there's, it gets fuzzy around the edges. So it starts like this, and then it gets more fuzzy and more fuzzy and more fuzzy. Also, I saw this when I was looking at it. I'm thinking this, helm wind might have something to do with those long bar-shaped clouds that we started seeing. You'll see there's almost no wiki for this, so I'm wondering if this is brand new. Research into Helmwind was carried out by Gordon Manley in the 1930s. He interpreted it as hydrodynamic terms as a standing wave or rotor model. As with the crosswind at Crossfell, its arrival is accompanied by the formation of a dense cap of cloud, a helm bar, which in this case forms along the high ground on the east side of the dale. Now see, there's no helm bar explanation. Example of a helm bar, like it, you would think that there would be a wiki for a helm bar, but so I guess it's not totally round in this photo, but I think we'll get more on that at some point. But we aren't there yet. So anyway, this is a scarf cloud, and then I guess they're going to say that the magic perfect lighting caused it to totally glow. This may be a little bit exaggerated here, but you can see from other images that not much exaggerated. It's a completely rainbow thing, and it is very cool. So I was you can kind of see there's other instances of it that are close, but not really. Lollipop in the sky. Yeah, okay. So yeah, the rainbow business is definitely upgrading a tad. Yeah, they made a pretty big jump on that one though. There's really not much that's that close to it until this showed up. So I guess this is quite recently, was over a big-ish, I don't know, a city in China. So it's been making the rounds for recently, last week or two, something like that. Very cool. Makes a nice thumbnail. We had very pink clouds at sunset 2 days ago. Never seen it before. Went online and everyone was putting the same color in the sky at the same time. You know, the last few years, the coloration here has been like neon pink next level on certain days. I'm absolutely shocked. So I've mentioned before because I grew up in California and I used to always say, well, I would see images of this beautiful sunset and I'll be like, well, how come we don't get this here? Because we just get a tiny blush of pink if we were lucky. And I was always told that it was more common in humid locations, but not here, so you could get it on the East Coast. Now, last time I checked, they were saying the reverse, and it's absolutely next level neon here. I mean, it is freaking insane on some days. When it first started showing up, people like on Nextdoor and social media for the area were freaking out. Look at this thing. But now it's like, man, they sometimes post it, but it's not the same excitement because it's getting a little old now for the area. But the first time I saw one, I was out the front yard and I looked up and I saw this. I was like, that is insane. And somebody was driving down the hill, house further up, and they got to the spot where they could see it, and they literally stomped on their brakes. Like, I think they were so shocked at what was suddenly in front of them that they're like, and then I could see they're just staring up at the sky like, what the hell? So now people don't stomp on the brakes for it anymore. Okay, so Lisa Vivian Music was talking about some Wizard of Oz ones. Toto being black. I'm a little weak on this one because I don't remember, like, I didn't see every version ever. I do remember, like, kind of a grayish dog, though, but I wouldn't really swear on that one. And I don't remember it snowing in the flower garden in Wizard of Oz. I don't remember that either at all. But again, if it didn't happen in the later color ones, I probably wouldn't know about it. Okay, so there's the scarf cloud. All right, who was bringing this one up? Somebody found this one. Listener Arcanum found this one. Said there's a Hopi prophecy about new animals showing up. So I did dig around. Shoot, I had it saved. So I was trying to find out, is this prophecy, is it vetted as going way back, or did somebody, are Hopi people vouching for this prophecy or not? All right, I had it saved. I had it highlighted, but it's not anywhere. All right, so they're going to make new animals upon the earth, and they're going to think they are helping us, and it's going to seem like they do help us, but maybe the grandchildren and great-grandchildren are going to suffer. All right, so they were talking about gene splicing, CRISPR and stuff. So that part just sounds like kind of old school stuff. So basically there is prophecy in here mixed in with interpretation of the prophecy according to current times. And again, I don't know if this is really, I mean, I don't even know how you would know with everything constantly changing and nothing making sense anyways. Is there really, Hopi people going to say, okay, yes, I remember that prophecy from childhood? or it's on lothealing.com. Hopi Indian Prophecies, the Great Purification, Third Great Shaking. Okay, so in this part they say they are making new animals. The elders talked about this. They said, you will see new animals, and even the old animals will come back. Animals that people thought had disappeared. They will find them here and there. They'll begin to reappear. So this doesn't sound like gene splicing. You're just going to find them here and there. So, I mean, like from our perspective, it could be manned animals, or it could be like, hey, look, these aren't extinct. After all, there they are. Which definitely does seem to be happening. Interestingly, Dark Wolf was talking about this just earlier when we were chit-chatting before I accidentally went live. So it's kind of interesting that I had this Hopi prophecy thing that was on my list of things. So I was kind of not sure of how much I wanted to go into this because, again, I just don't know, is this really legit Hopi prophecy? I don't know. Okay, so that's what you guys are up to. Am I the only person with weird MEs this week? It's been a little quiet for me this week. I didn't get that many. The Lazarus animals have really ramped up. Yeah. Old news coming up as new news. Let's see. Let's check out this one for Shari. Oh, okay. Richard Simmons breaks silence, tells the Post he's living the life he has chosen. So, what am I trying to think? I do remember about 2 years ago, there was talk about maybe his housekeeper or something was like holding him hostage and not letting him loose. And he came forward and he said, like, no, this is just what I want. I don't know if I'd say it was exactly the sentence that this title is giving, but thank you, everyone, for your kindness and love. I do remember a couple years ago, though, that was kind of, that he came out and said something. So if they're saying he didn't say anything for 6 years, that does seem not right to me, actually. Yeah, and this thing about him saying his knees were bad and he didn't want to like hobble around and look old and weakish. So he wanted people to remember him when he was fit. So I never heard that storyline before, though. That wasn't what came up last time. Last time it was just sort of a little bit cryptic statement that he just was doing what he wanted. So interesting. I read this 2 years ago. They have been looking for him 2 years ago, and this happened. So I remember it being kind of a thing where all his fans were saying, you know, like stirring up concerns that he was being like mistreated or held hostage or something. And I believe it was the police a couple of years ago that checked in it. But you know what I'm thinking? It was before the pandemic, so that has to be more than 2 years ago. Was it a whole 6 effing years ago? I can't swear it wasn't. But if they're saying he maintained his silence for 6 years and not said why, I don't know. It is a little off, but I'm not going to swear to it on that one. I don't know. Did 6 years go by that fast? Okay, so then we have this one on retconned. Do you guys remember the song "The Final Countdown"? It's like da dum dum da da dum 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 da da dum dum da da dum 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 da da dum da da dum da da dum. That song. and it was sung by a rock band that was named either Europa or Europe. Do you guys remember Europa or Europe as the name of the rock band that sang that? Swedish group, yes, correct. Pronunciation. So what's the pronunciation though? Does it have an ah sound or a e sound? Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3 votes for Europe and 1, 2 votes for Europa. Okay, see, now when this came up to be a Mandela, I first thought did someone else do it? But no, this is about the pronunciation of the band's name. Europa or Europe, like the continent. Or what's Europa? Isn't Europa like a star or something? Is it the continent or is it like a star? Dirk lead singer, blonde lead singer headband was intro song to a movie about time travel. The final countdown. Yeah, so it's so Monty remembers Europa. DD74 Europe. Shari remembers the continent. It's a great song. I love that song. Very I like upbeat wake me up sounds with a nice unique. So this is interesting. It's almost 50-50 with maybe a slight emphasis on Europe as being the one. And I'll tell you, when I saw those first 3 people say Europe, 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 I'm like, if I was like, feeling a little slinky. Okay, I remember Europa. I've never heard of a band called Europe. I was like, what? Europa is Swedish for Europe. Okay, I've never heard of the name Europe though. Okay, so I actually went and let's see. I went and found this video talking about them. I always remember them calling it Europa, and so this is a documentary type thing, and they call them Europe in here, and it's an English documentary. So maybe in my old timeline we said it like the Swedish, but here, I mean, they're actually making a whole documentary. They should know how to pronounce it. I've just never heard of a band called Europe. So yeah, bizarre. I can't find anybody calling it Europa now. Like, nobody in English is calling it Europa. I only remember it being called Europa, Eva. And so this one was found by Orion004. User on user on Retcon. So good find, Orion004. Yeah, I know. So when I saw that, I remember Europa, and I'm like, what, did somebody else sing it now? No, it's Europe now. So it's the same band, just the pronunciation is not how I recall. Never heard of Europa as their name. See, I've only ever heard it as that. Austin, Shari's never heard of it. Austin 108 has only remembered. So this is interesting, because if there was like the Swedish pronunciation and the American pronunciation, you should be hearing both of them if there was ever a confusion. But I actually can't find anybody saying Europa in English right now. Europa is Swedish for Europe. Okay. Yeah, I just can't find anybody saying Europa though. I thought it also was spelled with an A, and now it is just not spelled with an A anywhere. Like, if you look up the band, their name is Europe. I could possibly be wrong with the A, because I'm better at remembering how stuff sounds than how it looks. But I see a lot of people are clearly writing that there was an A, which is how I remember it. I thought their name ended with an A and not an E. Yes, exactly, Monty. That is what I remember. Like I said, I wouldn't I wouldn't, swear 100% on the spelling, but I would on the pronunciation. I was in Germany at the time, and Germans called them as original, so no, it was Europe there. Okay, Shari remembers Europe even in Germany. Yeah, that's as best I can tell. It has always been Europe everywhere. I can't find any live recordings of it being said the other way. And I can't find, there are some people who wrote the A on the end, but when you hear the word, it is not that. Funny thing is, in Germany, Europe is in Germany, Europe is Europa. You mean the word Europe is pronounced as Europa, but yet the rock band was still called Europe. See, I don't. So in another timeline, they called themselves their native word for it, I guess, and they didn't in this timeline. They were always Europe. Europa sounds way more, I don't know, it sounds way more cool to me because, I mean, it'd be like calling your band North America. It's like, boring. I don't know. It just doesn't sound interesting at all. When I hear Europa, I'm thinking cool, weirdo stuff, not like a continent. Anyways, okay, so I'm not insane, and neither is Orion 004, or at least not on that one, because a fair number of us do remember Europa. All right, so I'm going to delete that one and that one. Okay, so this is another one that came up on Recon by user Dragoon Ball 123. Another kind of newbie. I don't think I've ever had Dragoon Ball as on my show as far as a finder. Okay, so this one's interesting. We've had the Soviet Union flag on there before, and the star is the question. People remember the hammer and sickle, but they did not remember the star. So originally for me, let's see if I can make this larger. The star showed up, but it was small and solid. And then the star got bigger, but it was still solid. And then the star got like whatever you call this, an outline form. Instead of being solid, it was an outline form. And so this person also remembers it like this originally. So they, I guess, came in on the timeline when it was. We also remember at that time that the star was kind of over in the corner, and then the sickle was over here. Like we often see on a lot of flags are showing up with the star over, like just over there somewhere. So this person kindly mapped out how they remembered the flag with the star way over there. So thank you, Dragoon Ball. This is now the current flag. The star is right over the hammer and sickle. It is not in the corner anymore. So it's kind of weird because it shows up in the corner small, and then it gets bigger, and then it gets more outlandish, and then it sneaks over here. It's like, I just feel like it's being kind of shunted in from the corner. So I don't know. What do you remember? Do you remember the star over in the corner? Maybe originally not a star, maybe yes. Do you remember it like it is now, like this? And I'll show you the flag now. You can see the star is right over the top of the hammer and sickle. It's kind of weird that, we're going back to the past because we don't see this flag. The Soviet Union is no more in the current timeline. But, there's a lot going on in Russia. So, oh, you Dirk, are you Dragoon Hunter? Cool. Well, thank you, Dirk. I appreciate it. That's interesting that you're on the show because I don't know if you're just like a silent watcher usually, but I don't remember having you on the show that much. This timeline is weird. I remember Boris Jelzin. Now he's Yeltsin. Only Germans now call him Jelzin. I've never heard of Jelzin. And the vodka is still called Jelzin. I don't know the vodka. We're right next to Mexico, so we get Mexican vodka more and other Mexican drinks are more common than vodka too. So yeah, I do remember Yeltsin. I would not swear on the spelling, but that looks right to me, Yeltsin. So, Dirk, do you remember at one point there being no star or a solid star or anything? Or did you come in on the corner outline star timeline to start with? For me, there was no star on flag. I know two people who spent 15 years there and they remember no stars. Yep, originally, but it's been sneaking along for me over the years. That's kind of an older Mandela. I think it's maybe like 5 years ago when we're like, holy hand grenades, there's a star. Sapia remembers the star in the corner. Yeah, it's been progressing. No star, little star, big star, outline star, star goes to over the hammer. I thought the hammer and sickle was mortared. I I think for me actually the hammer and sickle was in the corner. It kind of looks a little big to me if I really had to say something. There definitely seems to be something off, but I want to say it was smaller just by a bit, or it's a little different or something. Maybe it wasn't as thick. It just seems a little more prominent than I remember. Like it was a little smaller, and then the star could be over here in the corner because there'd be more room for it. In my memory, stars on flags are Chinese. I'm not sure on that, but I don't know, Dirk, if you were here for the show, but there's a star that for me showed up on the California flag too, and recently, quite recently for me. Yes, the hammer and sickle were more centered. See, it's me. You know, we might be kind of thinking of the same thing. Like it would be like a little more centered, but I definitely wasn't for me in the center. So I don't know. Something seems just a tad off there, though, as far as the positioning and size of that sickle. I seen China been using the no star. I don't really. Let me just look and see what China's flag looks like. China flag. Why do I get our flag? So China's been using the no star flag. You know, if I had to swear on the China flag, I would say that like the little stars, maybe there was just like 3 of them and they were smaller. There's something not, something looks a bit off with that one too. But I'm not a Chinese flag expert. I Yet still, I feel like I've never seen this one before. I'm not as sure on that one, but it looks a little off. Stars on China flag were center, and now it's in the corner. Okay, Monty Hendricks remembers the Russian sickle thinner. Yeah, that might be it, part of it. If you divide the flag in 4 equal pieces, the hammer sickle was in the center of the top left piece. Okay. 4 section. It's still kind of it. Well, if you did that, like you just said, then it would actually be more over here. However, if it was smaller, maybe not. I don't know. Something's off. The big star was in the center for the Chinese flag. I don't think I remember that either, though. That gives a feel for it. Oh, look, see, there's 3. China Vector shows 3. Yes, 3 stars. This is it. This is it. This is it. Yes, yes. I found the residual. Flag of China Vector illustration has the 3 stars. That looks way better for me. Oh, I wasn't even thinking I'd find it, but I did find. That looks much better for me right there. Old vector illustration. So, I mean, what are the chances you're making a vector illustration of the Chinese flag and you get the number of stars wrong? And it just happens to be the way I remember it. Yes, that makes me happy. That looks much better for me. The new way looks really crowded. That looks right. I like that one. All right, so people are remembering it different places around the flag. So there was a pretty big shift, maybe like a month ago, and a lot of what I remember suddenly changed quite drastically from what a lot of my listeners remembered. So I think there was a big scramble of the salad bowl about a month ago. By the way, I saw the old map in a Donald Duck cartoon. South America was south under North America. You know, I see sometimes old maps have that, you know, like it's a little maybe distorted and it looks like it's underneath again. But all the other stuff will still be off. The shapes of Australia and the big fat Hudson Bay and stuff. So I never really feel like I see my old flag again. I just see ones that look a little bit more like the old flag, but they're never right. Check Australian flag. Australian flag. Now I don't want to let go of my China flag because I may never see it again. Will that vector one even stay? Okay, China flag. No, Australian flag. That's the word. Wakey wakies. Whoa. Yeah, I see what you mean by the giant fat star. That's not... That wasn't there last time we checked that. Let's see if I can... Look at that! That looks crazy! That is not right. All right, I agree with you on there. Look at that big fat star. So wrong. No. And look at these. They look like they ate too much for dinner. These flags aren't, these stars, they're not 5-pointed anymore. They're like bloated. So there's one 5-pointer. So these stars were 5-point stars before. But now they're, 7-point stars. But yet one of the old 5-pointers is still there. Is this supposed to like represent some kind of constellation? This is all wrong. All right, so we still have, I'm just kind of checking this one, assuming that the British flag is still like this. Wait, no, that's not right either. We should check the British flag. Yeah, look at them. They ate too much for dinner. They're huge now. This one's huge. These are all wrong. I don't think I've ever seen anything besides a 5-point star on a flag. I swear they were 5-pointers before. So yeah, God, I don't know why my mouth is like, can't function today. So I've been gaining a lot of weight in the last year and I've decided to fast, and I don't know if that's it, but this is like I fast one day and then I eat one day and then I fast one day. And so I did it 3 times last week, and this is my 2nd time this week. And I don't know if I actually feel pretty alert, but my tongue is kind of tripping over itself tonight. cartoons mostly resemble the old Earth flags, even the Bloyd stripe American flag. Go watch South Park in front of the school. Yeah, it seems like there's definitely like vestigial or leftovers in the cartoons a lot. I remember at one time the stars were 5 points and just one of them was 7 points. I don't remember that. Maybe I haven't really looked at it in a while though. Even that was odd for people. Yeah, and not that big. I agree. There was no massive one like that. That looks ridiculous. It's too big and it has too many points. These are... I don't remember these being different sizes here. I thought they were all the same. Like, not quite that puny, but not big like this. Like, in between 5-point stars. I wonder why they even have so many points. Oliver Henry's out. See you later. Thanks for coming. You got to fast for like a week to do some real good. I don't know. I feel a lot better this week. So, I had a dream like I was cleaning house. Like the house hadn't been cleaned a long time. So I do think it's helping. I don't know. You know, I've looked at research and some places say like 48 hours. I'm doing about 42 hours because I'll do, oops, drop something. I'll do the night and then all day and then the night again. And then I'll try to wait until like lunch before I eat again. So it's about 40 hours. That works out pretty good. There are some schools that thought that if you fast, you risk really dropping your metabolism a lot if you fast a long time. So you'd actually be losing weight slower because of the slower metabolism. I know there's a lot of different schools of thought on that. Especially if your metabolism already is slow and it might want to stick that way. And other people are like, I don't know. So I'm like running it like this. I'm not like a veteran faster. I fasted for 24 hours before, like this it's actually like I would call it the 40 hour, as I just skip one day and I've got 2 nights. So I used to say one day, but when I really look at it, it's more like 40 hours. So I've done a 40-hour fast here and there, but I'm doing it more now. So I might like stretch it, or like I might just eat a little bit of protein, because if I don't eat protein every few days and I exercise, I tend to have a little bit of muscle healing problems. Like it really, if you like exercise and you don't eat any protein for 2-3 days, it seems like the muscle just doesn't repair very quickly. So if you just eat like a little protein so that there's that available, that seems to help. Apparently the stars are Southern Cross. I don't remember the huge star on the left being in that constellation. So we see the stars themselves are changing. So maybe that's why the flags are changing. I don't know. If fasting makes metabolism slower, then slowing should make it faster. Not, it's like a U-shaped curve. Your body is designed to get a certain amount of food a day, and it's designed for that amount. So it's got limits on both ends. Like, for instance, if I fasted for 2 weeks, it's not going to be like super, super slower than if I fasted for 5 days. There's like a limit on both ends. Obviously, if I fast too long, I'll run out of food, and then finally there'll be no metabolism. But at the same time, eating more can boost your metabolism a little bit short term, but there's going to be a limit. You're not going to like run 5,000 laps. So it's kind of that U-shaped curve thing, right in here is the preferred amount of food that comes into the mitochondria. So I'm not really sure on that myself. Like I said, there's a lot of competing schools of thought, and there's a lot of different ways to do the fasting, and there's probably going to be individual variation, and it's going to depend on what kind of fat stores you have. The moon and the sun have been rising and setting in different spots every day. Huh, interesting. I haven't really noticed a huge change on mine. You know, I can see the sun set kind of over there, and it does move a little with the seasons, but I haven't caught it setting anywhere different than like right around there. And I'm rarely awake in the morning, so can't speak too much to that. I do, but when I do see it, I've always seen it in the same general area. Moon is a little bit harder to tack down, but because the moon has its own weird schedule now. It doesn't follow the sun so much anymore. All right, so anyway, we got Flag of China, the old school one. Yeah, that looks right. That is the correct one. So thank you, Dirk. Appreciate finding that one for me. And you can see that it led to a whole laundry list, so I should put that one on there. Australian flag. So wrong. All right, what do we have left on here? All right, this is from J. Emblin. So animals always changing. So he remembers, I'm pretty sure J. Emblin remembers bandicoots are these little rodents, and they remember bandicoots as being like just gray. And that's what I remember too. But what we're seeing is they're starting to develop an interesting coloration. So some of them are still just gray and boring little rat fangs. But then we see some that are getting this interesting banding. Well, that one is not helping, along the body. So it looks to me like it's developing a coloration. So this one is a good one. I hope this one will show up. Open link in new tab. See the pretty colorations on here? It's starting to get this weird butt pattern, and then some on the head here. So it looks like these things are going to... so it kind of makes sense. Okay, they're called bandicoots, and you're like, okay, whatever, you know, names are weird all the time. But it looks like it's actually developing banding. The bandicoot is going to be banded. So, like, is that just weird lighting, or is that banding? I think that we're seeing, and again here, banding on the face region. See, now you look at this one, you go, oh, he's just got ruffled furs. No, that's actually, I'm pretty sure that's also going to be more of that banding color. This one shows it. You can see the banding on that one nicely. See right in here. So these guys, I think, are going to have some color. Good find, J. Emblin. My brother was showing me Jupiter in the sky, and you could see clearly without any aid. Oh, Jupiter is visible now, too. It seems like they're all, like, showing up. You can see the moons of Jupiter through binoculars. Cool. You can see the moons if you concentrate and have really good vision. The moons now. I don't remember being able to see any of the moons of anything other than our moon. With just naked eye. So that is interesting. I have a vivid memory of listening to you 6 years ago doing these live streams, and you were a medical doctor. No, I never have been, but I have taken a lot of classes in college and stuff. So I do have a lot of old videos. One of the first things I covered were the biological changes. Unfortunately, if I had been a doctor, I might have known a few more of the structure names. And a lot of people got the impression I am a doctor, but I have not been. So I don't know if I really actually said I was in that timeline. It would be actually pretty risky to be doing videos like this with my face visible to you if I was a really a doctor. I don't think I would do that because I could get fired for being crazy. It's one thing to go under a pseudonym and be hidden and say things crazy, but with your face out there, that would be pretty risky, unless I had been like retired or something. I remember seeing the Southern Cross in the sky in Northern Hemisphere in the 70s. Yeah, I don't know a lot. I'm not a huge stargazer, so it's not my strong point. It seems the image of the huge moon wasn't so fake if Jupiter can also be seen with the naked eye. No, I looked, and so the moon, there is the super moons where it looks a little bigger, supposedly on some passes, and a little smaller. But it doesn't suddenly become 3 or 4 times larger. It doesn't get that closer. And then go back to its normal size. Now, I don't know, in 20 years there'll be enough shifts that the moon always looks that big, or there'll be some weird optical phenomena that'll turn out to be a thing. But right now, it's not possible according to current reality paradigm. There's a new spider ME for me, one with a butt that acts as a door. Yeah, I don't think I know of that one. Spider butt acts as a door. Spider butt is a door. Okay, I've seen these spiders. They remind me of the Japanese stamps. Trapdoor spider. So it looks like it's a door, but does it actually use it as a door? Trapdoor spider seizes insects. Cleverly concealed doors. So what I don't see is them saying it actually is a door. It looks like a door, but I don't see them actually using this as a door, to my knowledge. Oh, wait, here. Maybe this one. Okay. Yeah, okay. I have not heard of them using their butt as a door, but it makes sense, so it doesn't surprise me. Hourglass spider. That's kind of interesting that the shape of this one's patterning looks like there's variation in the patternings. So yeah, I've never seen that image of them with their butt as the door. I kind of wondered for a long time why they had that shaped butt. So yeah, cool. I mean, that would be creepy. You see that laying down there, it looks like a little coin or something, and it's the butt of a spider. Cool. I think maybe we've had that slipped in recently. This object looks like an ancient artifact, but it's actually alive. I haven't remembered this side view where it has these little, I don't know what those are. Is that the spinnerets or something? I'm just kind of looking at the guy. So this end piece has a little bit more of an out swoop now than I remember. And the body looks a little more robust and kind of intricate than I remember. Last time I looked, anyways. And it also has this weird little hairy... It didn't have this... Yeah, that's what's different. It didn't have a little hairy ring around it before. That's also new. So these guys have altered a little bit. So how old is this Mandela? These showed up, it was quite some time ago, like 5-6 years ago. Yeah, they did not have the hair. Man, that opens up for jokes, but I'm not going to go there. A huge bird sculpture in Kerala. I don't know, all these... Where's people getting the money for all these things? This timeline loves their massive sculptures. Oh, wow, check it out. India, where does India get all this money from to put up all this stuff? All right, so here it is. We can make it larger. I don't know, for some reason, nothing is working on the clicks here. As you can see, these are little dots or humans, so it's pretty big. I don't know if this is wood. It kind of looks like it is. Oil. India got no oil. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it'll become the biggest oil producer in the world next shift. You have to be crazy and a narcissist to be a doctor. I wouldn't say that for all of them. I've seen some pretty good ones, but a lot of them have to be really obedient and follow the paradigm a lot. It's hard to get through if you can't do that. All right, so we're done with those for now. All right, what else? What do we have? It's 1:07. I am making okay time. Okay, so speaking of animals, let's get on to some other ones. All right, so now black bears. So I just type in black bear. Now I've said before I felt like the snout was getting white, and you can see in these toys now that the snout is officially it's gonna take an hour. $90 for that thing. Larger photo. It's exactly the same. Okay. I remember black bears just having a black snout, so this whole thing would just be black, except for maybe the eyes would be brown. So you can see now that they're making all of them with these light brown snouts. That just wasn't the case. So it's gotten kind of official now that the black bears have the brown snout. But what I also found is, hopefully I can find them now, I'm starting to find black bears with additional non-black regions on their body. This one, I believe, has a taste of it. Okay, so if you look here, you can see that his across the front here is white. I'm also finding white triangles on the side on some of them. So he has the brown snout, but he also has the white chest. None of them ever had the white anything. They were black bears, and they were black because they're black bears. So, oh, here no, that, I don't think this is a black, is this a black bear? I think it is. I think that is a black bear. I'm trying to see if this is the North American black bear here, because this is a lot more than, no, this is Asiatic. Okay. One that I don't remember existing at all. So they have a little bit more of a goofy ear than the North American black bear. Let me go to Google, because it's going to have more images. One thing, I kind of hate Google, but when you want a whole pile of images, they're better than Swiss cows. Okay, North, come along. There. So part of the reason I saw is there actually something was on Reddit. Here's another one. This one is in the zoo, Oakland Zoo, American black bear. So look, he's got a ton of color on his chest. That just never was a thing. He doesn't have the ears of the Asiatic black bear. 6 years from now, this thing loads. You can see here, he's got the brown snout and the chest patch. It's like a mutt dogs get a little chest patch color instead of the purebreds. But I found some. There was one on Reddit, and it was like this bear was kind of bugging this woman for a while, and I sort of had a thing like, okay, if weird scenes with animals show up on like making the rounds viral, look at the animals and see if something's changed, because it seems like that's how the Mandela shops around stuff. So this is a nice one where you can really see the white chest patch, but it's only 220 by 165 as the resolution, so that's not going to be worth clicking on for better views. But it's American. This is the Wikipedia one. Now I'm trying to find the ones that showed additional. There was some that the ones in the image had these weird stripy things like along their all right, so there's a North American bear. Fuels black market activity in Canada. I've not heard of that. So you have two small cubs have like the whole half a sun pattern on here. You can see by the ears this is a North American black bear, not an Asiatic. So the ones in the viral image, it had these weird lines on the like under the arms too. So I'm trying to find one that I may not be able to find it, but it's coming. We're going to start to see, I think, coloration along those lines. Don't know why I have that up. Of course, I did this search last week and I had no problemos finding those arm stripes. So either that's coming or I've already zoomed out of that timeline and there'll be another coloration thing. But like a kind of a triangle in the back behind the arms is what I'm looking for. And now, of course, I'm not seeing it. All right, I'm going to make a little bit of an effort to find that video. This is the video. Here. All right, I'm going to try to find one with decent resolution. All right, let's try this one. Mexico. Do we have black bears in Mexico? I don't think I even remember. Black bears in Mexico? I don't think they said where it was. I mean, we don't even have them here in Southern California, I don't think. Last I checked, I had not had to deal with bears when I was going out locally. Because if there's black bears here, you would have to do, like, there's a whole bunch of things you have to do to make sure they don't steal your food and stuff. I mean, if we have bears here, I would have to do all that. Darn it, I'm not, like, finding the video. YouTube. Let's see if I can find it on YouTube. YouTube could be good for some. The reason I want to find it is because you can see at certain points that the bears had stripes under their arms, and so it's going to be interesting for me if that is gone. Here.
Heart-stopping video out of Mexico shows a moment a black bear walks right up to a group of hikers.
Stop. What I want to do is just click forward slowly without having to. All right, are the arm stripes still on the animal? Of course, now it's all hazy. You can't see crap. So this is also on another concept, is that this black bear is getting really friendly with this woman. They didn't used to be all chillax and like, oh, let's just say hi to this woman. the woman actually clicks a selfie. Now, this is like the world's worst resolution all of a sudden. You can't see anything. Now, this is interesting. This is really interesting because I think this whole video has changed. There were like, okay. Unless I find a longer version, this bear had cubs. There were 2 cubs that were hanging out over here. I'm not seeing the cubs now. So are they gone? Part of it was I was seeing the stripes on the cubs as well as the mother. So this video, I found it. It was supposed to be on last week, but no, I think I found it this week. This is in Mexico. It does say it's in Mexico. So there's no cubs now, and you can't see if it has stripes on it. Okay, so it has changed. There has been a shift since I saw this. There are no cubs on any of these. This is the exact video I saw. Holy crap, it's from 2020? All right. All right, granted, I didn't look into it to see if it was like an older video that was reposted. It might have been, but it's missing the cubs. All right, so I don't know. I give up on it. You're going to have to take my word for it. The cubs are gone. You can't see if there's stripes. The quality of the video sucks. Oh, see, it's me remembers the cubs. Thank you. You know, I mean, it's like, thank you. Thank you. I don't think I remember thinking it was bears are looking kind of thin. These days, but there was freaking cubs. All right. Yes. Thank you. The 151-foot stall, we're talking about Statue of Liberty, costs $2,500, paid for by the French. The pedestal cost $2,700,000, paid by American. I do remember that last time I covered it as being the story that the pedestal costs more than the statue, which makes sense now because the pedestal is massive and it didn't used to even hardly be there at all. Oh, the plaque was added in 1903. You mean the one she's holding in her hand, or is some other one? Because I don't remember that being added later, if it's the one in her hand. Shari remembers the cubs. Thank you. So this is a very recent shift then, if there's no cubs. All right, since you both remember it, I am going to look harder for the bear sniffs. You know, I didn't even look to see what country it was in. Freaking Mexico. Yeah, and they were like, the bear kind of toddled off, but the cubs were really close. I mean, you definitely didn't not see them. I don't see any cubs around anywhere. All right, I'm going to write the word cubs in to see if we can find it, because nope. That video is not coming up. Mexico. Yeah, there was 2 cubs in that video. All right, so when did I have this video down? Was it in my last one and I forgot it? I don't think. No, so it has been since the last show I found this one. So in the last... I don't think I found it right after the show. So the last 6 days, unless we find some cubs somewhere on this video, and I am not seeing it, then the cubs have disappeared. This is the exact video with this woman with this exact shirt and stuff too. So I also really feel like the video was taken, what do you call that? Portrait, the long way. This bear is doing exactly like the other one. It was to the same person, but there's no cubs. So the cubs on here were like right over here. And they pan over and the cubs are kind of jumping around. And I really remember thinking, like, that's really dangerous because she's with her cubs and they're famously aggressive if they're with their cubs. But, and I didn't see from this angle, but it might be that I just didn't see that one. But see, she toddles off. There's no, that's making me crazy. I'm sure all of you who didn't see this video are like, yeah, whatever. But if you saw this video, it's a trip. There's another one with the little neck colors. I keep thinking I'm going to find these cubs, but they're not. They don't seem to be there. Right, it was this angle one. This is interesting because I don't remember there even being video from this angle. It was this angle here. All right, stop it. I'm gonna do one more try. It's bugging me. Cubs or no cubs? All right, here the bear is toddling off after picking on that woman. I don't remember it picking on anybody else. All right, it goes to there. It goes back to her. It did have this weird attraction to this one female. I don't know if she had interesting perfume on. The bear eventually wanders away. So at some point this bear is like rearing up and sniffing her hair and she snaps a selfie. So that's kind of why it went viral. But all right, there he is wandering away. This is where the cubs were. They were right around here. The angle was slightly different. Yeah, there are no cubs in here. This is the selfie she took. Look at that. No, all right, they're gone. The cubs are gone. And unless anybody can find me a video where those cubs are back in, they have disappeared. You know, it's stupid because it's just a stupid Mandela that probably nobody cares about. But I am so sure those cubs were on there because I was going to show the cubs with the new colors. And I'm like, all three of them have the colors. The cubs had it the most and the mother had it second, like a little bit less. Moneybag 73's no rings and black leather jacket is missing. Ah, yeah. That would be a trip. Moneybags does seem to be pretty similar across timelines, except for his eye color and the name of his channel. But all right, so do we have San Diego has black bears? I don't think we should not have black bears, but I'm going to check and see if San Diego has black bears, because are there bears in the woods? Black bears have never been native to San Diego. However, in 1933, 28 black bears were relocated to San Bernardino Mountains, just north of San Diego. One possible explanation for the sightings in San Diego County is that somewhere around 1997, a population south of I-10 became established in San Jacinto. That never effing happened. There's no way. So, like maybe 20 years ago, there was a story of a black bear that made it to near Los Angeles. Like one black bear had wandered from the north to about the east of Los Angeles, not in the city. And I remember thinking, well, I sure hope we don't get any bears in around here or even in LA, because I don't want to have to deal with them when I'm out camping. It makes a whole new can of worms, because you can't leave your food in the car, you can't leave it in a cooler outside. There's no place safe. You have to hang that stuff, and they break into your cars and stuff. So I'm not gonna be like super happy if they're showing up here. And it kind of looks like they're sneaking along. Black bear photograph near San Diego, Texas. So, like, why are there black bears in Mexico? Because there weren't any here, because they would just stop in Northern California. Exact range in Mexico, poorly defined, but recorded in the states of Sonora, Chihuahua, Coahuila, Nuevo León, Zacatecas, Durango. No, that's not right. They weren't none past. I mean, why would Mexico have them and us not have them? They just didn't go. They liked that, you know, the forest with all the food in it. They didn't like the desert areas. That is wrong. It probably means we'll get those little effers sooner or later. Now that they have the story of some being released near Los Angeles. So wrong. Eva is smarter than your average bear. I hope I can at least beat a bear. Black bear looking more like a sun bear. Yep. Let's get in that. So the cubs in that video that magically have disappeared, they had stripes behind the shoulders. I'm not sure if we're going to get that now or not, but they were starting to get them. I found several images that also had it. I'm just not finding any of those images now. So what was that? 5-6 days ago? Something like that? Shifty, 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 shifty. What happened to moon bear and sun bear? They're still out there. I was checking out sun bears, moon bears. Didn't see anything really. Oh, you know what? Do I have something? Oh, yeah, spectacled bear. I didn't want to cover spectacled bear. I have covered these before. So the spectacled bear had some kind of coloration around the eyes, but it looks like it's really gotten next level on the coloration for spectacled bear. So I wanted to just mention that one. Spectacled bear. So these are not mentioned much, but I kind of went over all the new bears, and this is one of them. It was only sort of looking like spectacles before, but now some of them are like ridiculous like this. So I haven't looked at this in like maybe 2 years, but they're pretty impressive now. And some of them are just totally wacky. It seems like there's a lot more variation in them. See, like, what's up with that? They didn't used to be super yellow like that. They just had like the whitish, but now they're getting like this sunny looking faces and stuff. I mean, that looks like somebody spilled bleach on the poor guy's face. So it looks like they're yellowing out, basically. They were very white, and now look at this guy. Also spectacled bear. They didn't have the honey faces like that, so. And look, even the nose now. And then the back is kind of gray. Look at the prominent claws on that guy, too. Would not want to mess with him. And then some of them are more mild, but, yeah. I should just maybe take a quick look on the wiki here. See if there's anything about, the males having more color or what. Overall blackish, Andean short-faced bear or mountain bear, known as Jukumari. Native Andes Mountains in western South America. Only living species native to South America. Yeah, but didn't we just find like black bears in Mexico? That's not South America? Mid-sized bear. Varies in color from jet black to dark brown to even reddish hue. Usually has distinctive beige or ginger colored markings across face and upper chest. All right, there's nothing about the males having different colors than the females or anything, so that's interesting. I just wanted to see if there's anything like that. Squirrels are getting more tame. Those guys were kind of the vanguard of tame beasts, but now we've got all the time animals are thirsty, so they come ask humans for water. Animals have something stuck on their head, so they come and ask humans to take it off. That never happened. They used to, if they were injured, they'd just be scared and hide more. It's weird to think Schumann resonance stuff's being censored. YouTube used to have a live feed, but it's gone. Huh, now it's working. Let's see. Bloop. Ooh, is that recent? August 27. You know, I don't use that image. The one I watch is like white when it's really intense. I don't think I know this one. You kind of have to use the same one all the time so you know when it's crazy looking. Golden Moon Bear. I think that one has been on before. There's Moon Bear and Sun Bear. I don't think that there was originally two. Actually, originally there was none, okay? But now we have both. There's no spectacle bear. There's no moon. Oh. Golden moon bear. Interesting. Let me just look at normal moon bear. I think I've had these on before, but it looks like there's... Yeah, okay. Moon bear. So there's like this extreme form of these moon bears. I've covered these before. I think one of those showed up in that other bear video I was doing. I'm wondering if what we're going to see is that the moon bears are going to end up with patterning that looks more like the moon. Okay, and then these golden moon bears have extreme yellow versus the regular moon bears. Probably. I'm going to have to make sure they're not like a separate... Make sure they're not a separate whole species yet. All right, where's the wiki? So it's like a moon bear with a lot of extra gold on it, I believe. So maybe that's Asian black bear, is moon bear, white-chested bear. It's funny because it's not really saying moon bear, so I don't know. But you can kind of see it is reaching, it's getting this weird cobra-necked look to it, and it's getting a very moon-shaped pattern. So I'm thinking that it'll get like a moon pattern, and the sun bears will possibly get more of a sun shape on their neck. When they first came out, there was just moon bear. Then this sun bear thing showed up. They're differentiating more and more. And the sun bear is getting more of a circle pattern. See, like I've had this on before. It's starting to close. The circle is starting to close. So I would not be surprised if we get enough shifts it'll look like a whole round sun. And then the moon bear will have like a sickle-shaped moon pattern on its chest. So these are the ones I've seen with the really long tongue too, is these sun bears. Doesn't look like a lot of progression from the sun shape. Last time I looked, it was about like that for these guys. All right, so the bear, sun bear getting yellow. Oh, you know what it was? I did want to include this. The one thing I did notice about these sun bears is they also are getting the really yellow snout. And I don't remember them having that. So like the whole face now is yellow on some of these guys. And it's really yellow. It used to be just here, the chest. And then there was kind of a lightening at the snout. But now it's like it's got a whole yellow snout. And I don't remember that. I see the nose is still black on this guy. So you're really seeing kind of this extreme snout coloration change now on these. And I don't remember it being that way. This guy's got a lot of it. See, very, very yellow. Not just a lightning, but the whole face is yellow. And you can see here the snout is starting to look a little pinkish in the center here, so that's interesting. The other day I saw an ordinary domestic house cat on Reddit, not in real life, that had speckles of black all over. It's like a pinkish nose with dots all over it, like it was polka dot. I've never seen that. But there's a lot going on with the speckles on the nose that I don't remember. They used to either have a pink nose or a black nose, but now there's all kind of animals. Dogs and cats have partial coloration noses, and looks like these guys might be developing along those lines too. So a lot of the animals also, if they have a really light snout now, are getting pink noses instead of the black noses. This guy looks like he's pretty close to developing a pink nose. It's like, this one's weird because it's like the nostrils are getting pink, but the top is still black. So I don't know if this is in transition, but we should definitely keep eyes open. All right, so there's that one. Old stuff comes up lately. Something that's circulating again is a video of Bush funeral and the envelopes that were put in some president's hands. I do remember that. And then, like, I noticed that one of the people in there looked all shocked. I think it was Bush. He opened the envelope and he looked all... It wasn't like, more baloney. It was like, whoa. Anteater bears. Yeah, maybe they're going to say it's for the honey or something. All right, let's look at the Batman symbol. Now that you said it. Who knows? This is a shot in the dark, but... No, it looks the same to me. All right, so I remember it like this one here. That's about right. Not with the curvy edge thing. That looks like about right. Not this. That looks like an ordinary bat. Not that. Looks about right, though. The original voice of Tesla. Oh, interesting. No, I have not heard that we had his voice now. Bear's tongue usually that long? No, it's just that one bear got a really long tongue. So first the bear showed up, and then later I started seeing all of these really long tongue images. So I think it was kind of an add-on. Okay, so this one, I think like 2 weeks ago, I stumbled on this when I was looking at bisons or something. So there's a thing called Indian bison, and if you really look into them, they're the biggest in the world. Was it cow-like creature? I think it was. They are really next level, these Gaur, I guess. I've heard of water buffalo, but I have not heard of Indian Gaur. They're huge, bigger than American bisons. So, you know, there used to just be the one bison, and it was the Americans.
Traveler for conservative media, check this out. That's an Indian Gaur.
I think I've shut this
Traveler for conservative media, check this out. That's an Indian
Gaur. Can't even make it stop.
Traveler for conservative media, check this out. That's an Indian Gaur.
Stop. There. I don't want to hear it because I might get copyright. All right, so here we have the Indian Gaur, as this guy so repeatedly said. First of all, they look like their head has been squished in a vise. They're like caved in, and then they have this crown, and it's like flat, like there's a coin slot here or something. So it's pretty bizarre. I've never seen them. Here you can really see that look here. That is strange business. They are super effing beefy. They have like these huge, just muscle walls. I mean, it's creepy. Let's see. Let me get one. I want to do a little clip of it walking. This is not the best image I've ever seen, but they got this huge ridge back here. Here's another. You can see these are not flabby beasts. This one's sitting here. This is all muscle here. This is just rippling effing muscle. And then this freaking flat-headed thing. It's just like, creepy, creepy. I don't think this one gets up, but ooh, maybe it does get up. Does it get up? These things are also quite dexterous. Like, I saw them jumping over a little fence and stuff. I mean, they're not... You'd think they'd be, like, really lumbering. But no, they are very cool. So it's, I guess, a Gaur. Look at that. It looks like it's got... if you remember the Fred Flintstone's hats, the Royal Order of the Water Buffalo, it kind of reminds me of those hats, only a little flatter. So, yeah, Indian Gaur, I guess you pronounce it. I don't remember those existing. Gaur wiki. Gaur. That looks like I'm saying it right. Bovine native to South and Southeast Asia. Declined more than 70% during the last 3 generations. Yeah, it never existed. Here's a nice looking bull. Look at this. This is all muscle. Like, this thing is a tank, man. You would not want to mess with this thing. Whoops. Largest species among the wild cattle and bovidae. So it is the biggest, like, cow-like creature, basically. See if it gets weight. Have you ever even heard of, like, eating those or anything? Ooh, there's an albino one, too. here's a really nice looking bull. So they're in Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, Peninsular Malaysia, Myanmar, India, Bangladesh, Bhutan, China, and Nepal. Look at that beast. That is just next level. And these guys are very quick moving. When they want to be, they are amazingly able to carry this amount. I mean, it looks like a giant steak with little feet, but they move. How do bighorn sheep get it? Yeah, the cliff climbing has gotten next level in recent years with the sheep, too. It's, like, ridiculous. Seen it months ago in a tiger video. Tesla's voice. Ooh, I'm hoping that that's not copyrighted. All right, I want to hear it, too. All right, I don't hear any sound. Click. Here we go.
This new power for the driving of the world's machinery will be derived from the energy which operates the universe.
So he like slurs? It sounds like he's
present in unlimited quantities. I can drive the world's machinery without the need of coal, oil, gas, or any other fuel.
Huh. Maybe it's just the accent, but he sounds weirdly slur. Okay, yeah, I've never heard of that before. Hopefully that won't get me on the copyright. Can you eat Gaur? What do they taste like? Maybe they're all tough, all muscle. You gotta like cook it for 10 years before. Can you eat Gaur? Not guar, Gaur. Did it even say on the wiki? Gaur edible. I mean, I'm sure you're not going to die if you eat it, but not guar. Gaur. So they're vulnerable. Taxonomy, characteristics, distribution, ecology, feeding, they eat plants, reproduction, predators, few predators besides humans, leopards, dogs. The Gaur is threatened by poaching for trade to supply international markets. International markets for what? Also by opportunistic hunting and specific hunting for home consumption. In the 90s, Gaurs were particularly sought by Vietnamese poachers for their commercial value. In Thailand, the Gaur is severely threatened by poaching for commercial trade in meat and trophies. So you can eat them. It doesn't say anything about whether they're tasty. I would not be surprised if these spread and became more of a meat animal, though. Look at the amount of meat on there. Nothing about whether they taste good. It literally is the biggest steak in the world. So they said they are hunted for domestic consumption. Reminds me of the photoshopped image of blown up muscle bulls. Yeah, exactly. And first you get the weird meme and the Photoshop, then you get an animal that looks like it. Things published online are very odd and strange this week. That interview was one of them. Yeah, keep an eye out for the memes. Definitely. A lot of times, if there's animals in the memes, watch the animals for changes. I'm doing that more diligently now, and I'm finding a lot of Mandelas in there. In this case, there was a Mandela, and then the Mandela got Mandela'd because those cubs disappeared. All right, I got 10 more minutes. All right, so where did I see this about the torpedo fish? I am not sure. This is actually like, I don't know, a whole week ago. I stumbled on this, and I can't remember if somebody mentioned it somewhere or if I actually found it. So if I stole your Mandela, I apologize. Or maybe I just saw it on like one of those nature is metal type images, which I kind of am leaning towards now that I'm looking at it. All right, so there's this thing called torpedo fish. It really looks like I don't know, it's one of those weird flat bottom feeder fishes, but I've never seen those before. And it's got these blue spots. And here's the thing about torpedo fish, they're like electric eels. They can shock you. And so apparently these suckers were used in ancient medicine. Now, in my old timeline, only the electric eel could shock you. And that was its like claim to fame, that it was really interesting. You know, elephants had trunks, and they were the only ones that did. And skunks had one stripe and shot stink, and they're the only ones that did. And electric eels were the only ones that would electrify. And not anymore, because now we have this eyed electric ray or torpedo fish. I've never seen one look like this. It's got the spots, but let me see if I can find it. So the shock is not it's not as bad as like electric one, because originally the electric ones could just hurt you in my old timeline, but now they can kill you. And now we've got this torpedo fish that it just hurts, but it doesn't like kill you. Can be severe, but not life-threatening. In classical antiquity, the electrogenic properties of this species led it to be used as medicine for the treatment of pain and diseases such as gout. For example, Roman physician Scribonius Largus, in his blah blah book, recommended that chronic headaches be treated by the application of a live torpedo to the affected area. Yeah, a live torpedo fish to the common torpedo is edible, but is little valued by commercial, artisanal fisheries, and mostly discarded when caught. Because it's a shallow water fish, may survive being captured and discarded. The common torpedo has been kept in aquariums, but requires live fish for food. Yeah, I just have not heard of anything that is not the usual creature. It's not an eel, and it shocks you. And B, was used medicinally. I think I stumbled on this when I was looking up some kind of medicinal thing, and it said that. So I think that actually might have been me. Okay. I only got one more. I've got like 6 minutes. The electric garden is an interesting thing. Yeah, I think we had that on last week, right? We had electric garden on last week. Where they would put electricity into the garden. Yes, that was on last week. And then there was the theory that the plants would like, that's how Irwin died. No, Irwin died with a manta ray with a long tail stabbed him with the spike at the end of his tail, and they have poison on that tail, and the stab went right into his heart and shot poison into his heart, and that's how he died. That was not from shocking. I mean, unless it's changed, but I have checked it a number of times, and that has not changed. Damn, I also don't remember you talking about the electric garden. Well, hopefully the rest of you do. That would be weird if I went back and it wasn't on there. Did not watch the Joe Rogan and Mark Zuckerberg interview. Sorry. I'm not a huge fan of Joe Rogan. He just seems kind of a bit of an an a-hole. I mean, a lot of times he's not, but he just has that edge to him. And, you know, he does have a lot of good speakers, and it's not, you know, he's fairly logical and stuff, but he just kind of rubs me the wrong way, so I don't watch him that much. Occasionally I will, but it just strikes me that he'd be kind of a dick, if you pardon this French, if you met him in person. That is the impression. And maybe, you know, maybe it's just personal differences. Sometimes two people just rub each other the wrong way, you know. So it could be that. I don't know. Some bird species. Okay, this one is the last one. I'm going to have to shoot along. Apparently birds now deliberately sit in ant nests so that the ants would get, like, I don't know, other parasites off them. Birds rub ants on themselves, and no one knows exactly why. It's called anting. Anting involves bird rubbing ants on themselves. They also talk about birds just sitting in ant nests, or anting is widespread and fascinating. At its most basic, anting involves birds rubbing ants on themselves. 200 species of birds have been observed engaging in this behavior, and nobody is sure why. So I guess they go where there's a bunch of ants and flop around. There's passive and active anting. In passive anting, birds will lay down on ant hills, feathers spread, allowing hundreds of ants to swarm their bodies, climbing between their feathers. During active anting, birds have been seen to pick up ants in their beaks and frantically rub them all over their bodies and under their wings. After the ant exposure is over, the birds often eat the ants. However, the behavior has been observed in species that do not normally eat ants. Behavior is observed in the 1930s. Ornithologists have been attempting to find explanation for it. Some theories are chemicals produced by the ants. Might be like formic acid. That formic acid could fuel the function of anting behavior in a number of ways. Might kill mites or other parasites. Maybe it's a natural balm soothing the irritation caused by molting. Maybe it's a way to prepare ants to be eaten. That doesn't make much sense. By rubbing the ants on their wings and forcing them to secrete their acids, the damaging fluid is drained, making them safe to eat. I don't know. Sounds a bit of a stretch. Maybe formic acid is a stimulant for birds, which is addictive. So anyway, yes, there's this thing called anting now. Birds rub in ants. I don't know why I missed it, but the White House dome is now flat. Yeah, there is no dome now. I've had that on the show. The White House dome there's no more dome. White House. Unless there's a dome now, I'm going to freak out. Okay, White House. The White House. So I had it on some, like, I don't know, maybe a year ago, that the White House did not have a dome. So if there's a dome but it's flat, I'm going to flip out. Yeah, there does seem to be a weird square in the front. I'm not sure I remember that being there either. That's not useful. How about this one? Okay, so you're thinking this. I don't know. That looks a little weird, but I wouldn't swear to it. But yeah, there's no dome. There's no indication of a dome. I feel like the whole thing is like smaller and just kind of really meh now. And I've covered that one before. So yes, I agree. It had a dome, but it was renovated in 2000 where they removed it. Are you serious? White House removed dome. I don't remember that. Capitol Dome. That's the Capitol Dome. I don't see any history of them. I know there was a renovation in the White House, but I don't see it. I'll have to check again, but White House dome. I gotta go like in 10 seconds here because I'm running at the end of my time. There's only the Capitol dome. I don't see anything about any dome ever being on there. That's interesting. I guess that means you remember it though. But yeah, nope, it's gone now. Anyway, I'm going to have to check it, but there's no indication that I can see. Yeah, so Capitol dome's still there, but... yeah, we'll have to do a little more research. All right, guys, thank y'all. Got lots of good Mandelas from y'all, so it kept things interesting. Think good thoughts, everybody. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.